We
are cultivate.
cultivate.
We are cultivate.
The Oracle Network.
Hello and welcome to a special mini-sode of Ye Olde Crime, the show where Maddie and I discuss the funny, strange, and obscure crimes of yesteryear every Wednesday. This special bi-weekly segment is called Can You Crack the Cramp-Word, which is slang for a difficult or obscure term, which I thought was very fitting. And joining me today for the third time is Sean from the Shots and Thoughts podcast.
What's up, Lindsay? What's up, old timers? Old crimers? Old timers?
Old crimers.
Old crimers, that's correct.
And before we begin, I'd like to give him the opportunity to tell us a little more about himself and his podcast, Shots and Thoughts, before we start the game.
Thanks, Lindsay. What's up, guys? My name is Sean. I co-host two different podcasts. I co-host Shots and Thoughts. That was my first podcast. We learn something new every week during the first half, and then the second half we play 3 drinking games, and then we make the person who took the most shots give a recap of what we learned in the first half. And then I'm also the co-host of Reddit on Wiki, where we also learn stuff, but we use Wikipedia and Reddit as our main sources of research, and we cover a wide variety of things. And both shows are weekly shows, so new episodes every week.
For sure.
The common theme is learning, because if you have not heard my first 2 episodes of this or heard any of my other podcasts, I'm a dumbass. So I need to learn a lot of things so I can, be up to speed with an adult my age.
I am just dumb. So I'm constantly learning things, and it's funny because I hold on to the stupidest nuggets of information. Like when we were preparing for the live feed or the live show that we did, and we were looking at that.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
By the way.
And when we were looking at that creepy koala thing, I was the one that was those carry chlamydia, right? Like real koalas. And everybody was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh yeah, they're riddled with chlamydia. It's to the point where scientists in Australia are trying to provide a vaccine for the koalas because there's so much chlamydia.
What's wild is I also know that fact about koalas.
Yes.
Why do we know this?
Right? It's and this is the weird fun fact that I bring out at parties. If I don't know somebody, it's like, hey, fun fact, and people are like, cool, moonwalk away from you now. Sick.
The Nick Miller awkward moonwalk.
Exactly. Or I'm like, I'll just go over here now. And then I just kind of weirdly walk away. Nailed that conversation.
Got him.
They're going to remember me. That's for sure. Weird chlamydia koala lady. So on that note, let's segue into some questions.
Let's do it.
So how long have you been friends with your Shots and Thoughts co-hosts, Chris and Ryan?
Oh man, legit childhood friends. Chris, I feel like I've known since birth. And then Ryan came from Canada when I was in kindergarten. Okay. And then we met then. So long time, 20 plus years. Ridiculous.
So real close.
Yeah. Some would say too close.
Just a little bit about one another.
Yeah.
So what has been the favorite subject that you've covered or learned about so far on Shots and Thoughts?
Ooh, that's a good question. Sometimes I forget what we even learned about. The second half
Fair.
Totally belittles the first half of most episodes. But I think this is going to sound boring, but personally for me, learning about the national debt was interesting because they talk about that on the news all the time. And they talk about that's the reason why we can't get social work and social justice. Mm-hmm. Because, we can't do it. We're too in debt or whatever. And then in that episode, I kind of learned the debt doesn't even really fucking matter. They prefer that we're in debt, the government. So really they're complaining about nothing and just using it as an excuse. But
yeah, it's a good scapegoat.
Yeah. So I was like, there's really no excuse. We should be fucking having eliminating private healthcare and having public free healthcare and doing a lot of other social, social justice-y, social equality type things.
Go America.
Go America.
And last question, what got you into Dungeons and Dragons?
Ooh, okay. So I don't get to play as much as I would like to. Like I've DM'd or like dungeon mastered for some of my friends because I was just like, after I had already gotten into it from various media, I was like, oh, we should try with friends. We all like to joke and stuff. And I think we hit like the 6th game mark, and that's usually where most campaigns and groups end anyways. And then it's just adult life. But originally how I got into it was I used to, in high school, I used to really love those college humor videos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I used to be a huge fan of Jake and Amir.
Oh, yeah.
And then Jake and Amir started their own podcasting network. And Jake started a podcast, D&D podcast with like 3 other college humor people. And then I was just listening for the comedy. And then I was like, this actually sounds like super fun. And then I watched, there's this thing called D20. It's like a live show where they play D&D. And it's pretty much like, I think it is college humor. It's just comedians playing D&D. And I was like, oh man, it's nerdy, but funny. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then, my friends talked about it, that they had played. So I like hopped in on their game for a little bit and I was like, oh yeah, this is fucking rad. You could do whatever the fuck you want. It's like a video game, but no rules and all improv. It's so fun. Old crimers, if you haven't played or watched any D&D content, highly recommend.
And it's the nice thing about it is it's all random because it's dice. So it's like,
yes,
everything's random. You could be going down this path where it's like, oh, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then all of a sudden someone rolls like either a super awesome, like a D20 type roll and like does something super crazy, or they roll like a 1 and then like the most horrible thing ever happens. And you're just like, oh shit, that just like ruined our entire game. Like,
yeah. And sometimes having like an epic failure like that is just fucking, sometimes I hope to fail just for the chaos and the comedy that ensues usually when something like that happens. Like it's either you do something super rad and badass, or you do something that ends up being probably one of the funnier highlight moments for the group. And it's always a fun time. It does take up a ton of time. And that's why most games stop, because it's a table of 5 adults all trying to get their shit in, and lots of math, unfortunately. There's apps that help out, but lots of math.
Yeah. I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons myself, but I've played 2 different games that were similar, and now I'm blanking on what the names were. But one of them was like a Star Wars type game.
Ooh.
And another one was, I'll have to find out and I'll DM you later, because my oldest brother-in-law does a lot of like DMing for Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. So he was the one that introduced us to it. And it was a fun game for us to all play together while I was pregnant with my youngest, because they would all come over and we'd play it for several hours and stuff. But yeah, once babies come out, it's kind of hard to play.
Yeah, it's hard to do a lot of any social life because you're trying to, have them do their social after school stuff on top of their regular being children and difficult.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I have 7 nieces and nephews, and I'm just like, oh man, when the time comes, I mean, everybody becomes ready, but it's just like, oh my gosh, so nerve-wracking.
Yeah. I feel that. Yes. All right, you ready for your terms?
Oh yeah, I'm batting at a 0 right now. 3 episodes in, nothing even close to correct.
We'll see how you do this time around. 3rd time's a charm.
Oh, let's hope so.
All right, so your first term is addle plot.
Addle plot. Like I could go the easy route and just be like plot of land given when you become an adult. That's what I'm thinking, but it's never what I think at first.
Never what you first think it is.
And it's never sexual. I learned that the first time around. I thought all of these were going to be dirty, not one.
Nope.
Addle plot. Oh man, these are always so random too. fuck it. I can't think of anything, even though I know it's wrong. I feel like adult plot makes sense in my head.
Adult
And I
plot
think the
of
old
land.
crimers are with me. They're thinking, yeah, that does make sense. We
That
know
does
it's
make-
wrong, but what else could it be?
It makes a twisted bit of sense, yeah. So addle plot is someone who spoils or ruins the progress of any undertaking, aka a spoil sport.
Maybe like the plot of whatever is happening. Okay, I got you.
Now I have faith that you're going to get the second one. I believe in you.
Oh no. This is when I disappoint.
You might surprise yourself this time. I got faith. Your second term is devil's teeth.
Devil's teeth. Maybe something sharp. Devil's teeth. It's like maybe something, an obstacle or a scary mountain. Oh God, I feel the disappointment just beaming off of your face. Oh God, you were so confident in me.
I really want you to
And-
get this, so I'm going to give you a tiny, tiny hint.
Oh yes, please.
It involves something that we have previously been talking about, or it can be used in something we were previously talking about.
Like something that we were talking about in like the group chat, or like something that me and you were talking about.
Like something we've been talking about in this interview.
Oh, in this interview.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. Devil's teeth. Was it some Dungeons and Dragons? No, that didn't exist until like 1970. That's way after this. Devil's teeth.
But you are on the right track.
Okay. Before I answer, what is the average success rate on Can You Crack the Cramp-Word?
I think I've had 2 people get a term right. Most people don't get anything.
Okay, that makes me feel so much better about myself.
Yeah,
Okay,
most people don't get anything.
Okay. Devil's teeth. We've been talking about Dungeons and Dragons. We talked about friendship.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about laughing. Is it a person with a scary laugh? I know that's wrong. Sounded bad as soon as it came out of my mouth. Oh God.
It's just Willem Dafoe. That's what it is.
Oh man, not the spoil Spider-Man people, but oh boy.
Oh boy.
He was so good in that.
He was something else in that. Yeah. All right. Is that your final answer? Someone with a scary laugh?
Devil's teeth. Yeah.
Okay. Devil's teeth is slang for dice.
No, God. Devil's teeth. I wonder what the origin is. Whenever you find these, do you find like how, like the, what's
I'm
the
gonna
word?
look it
There's
up.
a word. Is it
Etymology?
Yes. Devil's
I should
teeth.
do that. Googling it.
We got this.
Googling it.
I wonder if it's harder to find it because it's like such an old slang term.
Devil's teeth. Well, that is not it.
Oh no.
This one thing that popped up is definitely not it. It talks about when a dog licks its testicles, and I was like, that is not right.
See, that's more on the terms of what I usually would think and then go shy away from because I know it's never that.
Ah, devil's teeth.
I've made
I
your
don't
job much
know.
more difficult. It's okay. We don't have to.
I don't know where that comes from, but I can kind of see it in the one hand because I know they used to play bones, right? And that was like
Mhm.
dice. So I'm wondering if like the teeth is just kind of an extension off of that. Like, although I don't know why it would be the devil's teeth.
Maybe it's devil's teeth because gambling is bad, and then when dice are white, like teeth.
Maybe. And you got the whole snake eyes thing, so that maybe ties into it too.
Ooh.
Like, with the devil and the snake and Satan.
See, we don't even need Google, Linz. We don't even need it.
We just got there all on our own.
You'll love
You're
to
welcome,
see it.
internet.
You're goddamn welcome.
You heard it here first. Well, I would like to thank Sean for joining me today for Can You Crack the Cramp-Word? And before we go, can you tell our listeners where they can find you and both of your shows on social media?
Yeah. Oh God, this is John from Reddit on Wiki. During episodes, will try to get me to give the info and for all of our social media. And I never know any of them.
Just
'cause
tell
we
them
have-
a website because they're all different.
Yeah. Exactly. For Shots and Thoughts, if you're interested in Shots and Thoughts, we are at SNTPOD on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. We don't get on Twitch often, only for every once in a while. But yeah, SNTPOD for all of that. If you're interested in Reddit on Wiki, we have a website, redditonwiki.com. That has access to our Instagram, our TikTok, our Twitter, and it also should link to the Cultivate Podcast Network Patreon, which has content from Ye Old Crime, Reddit on Wiki, Weird Distractions, Shots and Thoughts. Eventually, we're gonna do that. Yeah, the Dumbfound Dead, and yeah, you can find a lot of good stuff on there.
Well, thank you again for round number 3, joining me on Ye Old Crime.
What's the record for the for people that have like how many times have people come on the show multiple times? Am I up there?
I think right now you are the first person that has been on the most.
Oh man. That's I've been on here the most and still not even close to one. Yeah, you really hate to see all that.
But it makes for such great content.
Most opportunities, least amount of success. Story of my life. But glad to be here.
Well, on that note, as always, I'm Lindsay, and I'll see you next time with another tale as old as crime.